Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Map number 2 here of our grand finals. The first best of 3 of, again, potentially 2. You're just joining us. CLG picking up the first one very convincingly. We're now on Mirage. CLG with the T-side start. And again, I am Sprawl. By my side, the one and only Blue.
Hey.
And it looks like, again, some presence towards B to start things off for CLG.
Right over here, Cold actually is going to be in a really good spot, as you can see. Already dropping the bomb carrier. Fur also found another kill on a color, so this hold, oh my goodness, this is going to go so well. Fur's coming in, they're going to completely stop it. 2 good shots do come out there from Tarek, but it's not going to be enough to find the kills, and that's going to be a complete shutdown here. So all of a sudden, LG take the very, very convincing start, and it's starting to look again. CT is just the magic side for both of these teams. Let's talk a little bit about this map, actually, as we're getting into this anti-eco. I mean, Mega Man was actually talking a little about us, too, as he came into the room, but this is the map that, I believe this is the map that both teams were able to come very close and or were able to beat Fnatic, the best team in the world, on. So that either means that, of course, this is a really good map for both these teams, or it's a really crappy map for Fnatic.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
Yeah. So
whichever way you want to spin it. I've honestly seen Luminosity lose to teams that they probably shouldn't on this map, and I really don't know how this is gonna go. Like we were stating, chain logic is a hell of a thing inside of CS:GO, and usually doesn't result in correct predictions. But oh boy, we're seeing Luminosity do a great job of cleaning up this anti-eco. They've only lost a single player, and going back to that pistol round, I'm not gonna lie, Cold going for that play, so they push too aggressive up middle and they position Cold towards underpass. And the fact that Cold got that many headshots, that's just unreal to start the round, as honestly that's stuffing the execute before it even comes into play.
We're gonna have a little bit of some banter there, a little bit of a comical end of the round. All right, Hayes with a little bit of over the culture gap there. But, again there, that second round is going to get picked up here by LG. CLG going on to another small pistol buy round here, as we would generally expect. They weren't able to get the plan of the first round, so that third round option, not really going to be something they can work for. Cutler tries around the corner, but Cold again holding it strong, finding a third one there too. Even wrapping out and catching one player, trying to work in through connector. JDM will be able to finally take down Cold after he gets those 3 kills, but right back at you there from Steel, as he's going to find JDM, and now it's just Tarek trying to bounce around in the smoke, but he's eventually going to find some fish there in the pond. He takes him down, and that is going to be the third round pickup. No trouble at all closing things out, and that'll be the big pickup from them.
And we're going to see Logitech instant replay here as the catwalk play comes in again. Cold just holding his own, making sure that they can't get anything crazy done. Obviously, on those rounds, you want to create a chaotic environment, and just not able to do so. As look at Luminosity. This is actually a very interesting strategy to go for on the first rifle round. Aggressive play into A ramp, and they gather so much information because of it. And now they can kind of rotate some players off, focus towards other portions of the map.
And mid control being taken here very early by CLG2, which is very important. And a great clutch. Very, very quick headshot there coming out from Cutler. So that's a big pickup there. He's going to take down Fallen. Very big fragger here for the LG roster. Seal is going to get a response with the SMG, but now Cold inside a dark room. He actually wins that trade versus Cutler. I would have sworn Cutler to win that one, but they come out on top there. 3-on-4 situation. LG now retaking control, and as we are seeing right now, I mean, CLG, they've got control of middle, but they aren't really able to move anywhere else with it. They're smoked off here inside connectors, and they can't move up there. There's no way in heck they're going to be able to work their way back over here through Cat, because they have zero info as to what is actually on the B site, and they have to go back and get that bomb. That's back over there by the ramp to begin with, so they're going to have to play it towards the A site, and it's going to be a very, very risky take here. But CLG and Hayes, they find the 2 openers. They work their way in. Hayes is going to take a lot of damage to get dropped down to 12 HP, but they're still pulling through, and they're still fragging. Tarek's going to take out Bolts back over there by Ticket Booth, and now it's all at the hands of Steel, so a great entry. Again, this is definitely a round that LG should have closed out without too much trouble, but huge aim potential here from CLG, and they're able to put it into a situation which they control absolutely.
Steel, wow, what a shot from him. Takes down JDM towards ramp. Incendiary will clear out Firebox, so he knows there is no one residing there. Tark gonna push up towards Triple. He will go down, though. No. Hayes will find the correct post plant, as again, planted out in the open. We saw Steel. He was convinced that Hayes was towards connector, and honestly, that's not a bad post plant at all. Put a player towards connector, and that's usually when we see that plant, you can have that kind of play. But instead, it's hazed from underneath the balcony. They do secure their first round, and like you said, kind of coming back into it. It looked bleak for a moment, but as they worked up into A, all the frags go in their direction.
And Cold in that 1-on-3 situation, great job in pulling off those Sukus anyway, because again, it's going to serve to keep the money low. It's definitely a much bigger thing for T's getting the kills into CTs in this regard, but even this now, it's forced things down from AKs back onto Galils, and like 3 out of 5 of these players don't have full nade stacks. They're looking very light. Tarek and Finesse really only with smokes, and Cutler doesn't have anything to work with at this point, so it actually has limited the take potential here from CLG by a pretty big way. The CTs are still going to be just as light, so overall it's an even game, but it has helped to even things out instead of it being in the advantage for CLG at this point.
And it looks like they are going to head towards A after they have Cutler just hanging out in middle. He will be that lurk roll, at least for this round, as Tark going to be priming his smoke. A couple nades will follow up, and here we go. Tark going to be the first one to lead the charge. He's had, again, a hell of a tournament. Honestly, the whole CLG crew doing quite well. Finesse not going to realize that there is a player pushed up inside of Palace, and going to be Fur and Cold to capitalize even further here. Bolts onto JDM. Tarek with one, gets a second one, but then will go down thereafter. So, obviously, the situation not great if you win a round and lose the one thereafter. Now, busted up in the economy is CLG.
And that was a pretty textbook round there. A good basic setup from the players there on LG, and CLG's inability to find an entry frag limited their potential by quite a large margin there too. And because of how sort of one-dimensional that take was going to be, it was no trouble at all for LG to rotate any players that were out of position into the correct spot and get them right into the spot that was needed there to counter out any sort of push that would have been made. But this is going to be super aggressive here from Fur, but he gets so much intel out of that play right there. He basically found almost every single player on CLG, and he got a kill to boot, so that's a big play. It does hand over an SMG into the hands of Finesse, which that can get a little bit dangerous further into the round, but for now, this is definitely still something that the players here on LG can manage very, very nicely. But now it's seeing no play after that. The players here on LG have had to go back to more stable positions. But now we're going to see the smoke setup moving in towards the A side, and they can react much, much faster. Bolt's already finding one kill here on the Cutler. The plant's going to come out from Finesse, but now Cold's starting to clean things up here too. Finesse is going to move out. He finds one kill. Tarek actually ends up stealing it, but it doesn't really matter too much there. And then you've just got Fallen moving in with the pistol and op combo to clean things up on those final two players. Defuse will be coming out at any point now. But the big thing there is that was a full eco, and they get the plant too. So not only are they going to be able to buy next round, but they can buy everything they need. Anything that would have been lackluster previously, where they may have not been able to get a full nade stack on one or two players, that shouldn't be too big of an issue here heading into this round.
Yeah, we'll see, as actually Cutler and Finesse, they'll have to actually sacrifice and get a Galil, but they go for the utility, and that's not a bad play here at all, as JDM going to go with the glass cannon, so he will indeed utilize that bomb plant money. And one thing we've seen from LG is they don't mind putting an SMG on a player when they think that there is going to be an eco, and they make sure he's very aggressive and at least gathers a lot of information. As actually in the first rifle round we saw, I believe it was Steel who took down Finesse with an MP7 and then upgraded to an AK. So again, you can make use of that. You get $600 and you get to upgrade the weapon. Plenty of information. Not too shabby at all, but in this round, we got CLG. Going to be a two-man show, 2v4, as they do lurk into A, but they're just going to post up and see if Luminosity makes any mistakes, kind of getting interested if they're at A.
And what a great peek there earlier on from Cold there too. If we were able to catch that on the stream, Cold made a really ballsy peek back over on Cat, and he was able to jump up, completely surprise the operator back over there, JDM, and actually beat him to the punch on the shot to take him out of the play. So that was a big kill pickup there from there. Completely limited the potential of the mid take here from CLG, and now as they've made their way onto the site, they've only survived with 2 players. So now bringing it down into a 4-on-1 scenario here. Finesse still lurking, still looking for kills, but it's going to be a little bit too cautiously, as Fur is going to be able to pick up the op shot. He takes down Finesse, and LG continues to dominate here as we begin our 8th round at a 6-1 scoreline. Once more here, CLG is going to be forced onto a save, as they did go for the buy-up last round. We already talked about that limited them, so they're once again going to be dropped down, as they still are establishing that losing bonus at this point, so won't be on the infinite cycle just yet.
Yeah, as we'll see what kind of eco strat they want to go for. And actually, this is something that I haven't seen in a while. This is a strategy that is basically use an eco round to discuss what went wrong. And it doesn't take a tactical pause. You can just basically buy time, you hop around and spawn, and again, they're not just trying to practice their bunny hops. That's exactly what they're doing here. They're trying to discuss and see what they've all seen and how to adapt to it. And I'm actually very interested to see what the next round is going to turn into, as I imagine they'll have some sort of plan moving forward. But at some point here, we will see eventually, but probably maybe last minute here,
LG.
taken to A.
LG with the very good time on this, first specifically actually throwing the smoke out just as we were starting to see CLG's players shift back over to T-ramp to try and make a push into A here, so that's actually perfectly timed. They're going to be forced through a smoke now. Now that smoke itself doesn't hold too much back on an angle-wise, but still, it's going to be a 3 for nothing here on the side of LG. 4 for nothing now as Bolt's picking up another headshot kill into Tarek. Hayes will be the last one alive with the deagle, but he's back over in mid, so he's not even where the action is happening right now. He's being pushed back, looking for the shots, can't find them. And that will be a perfectly clean round at the hands of the CTs here. A lot of money getting stacked up in their hands as well, which is a very, very dangerous thing to have on the CT side of Mirage. And this is something that hopefully CLG have considered and are looking to stop here now as we go into this round. 5.9k on Bolts, probably the lowest player, as we have 2 more at 7k. That's going to be Fallen and Fur. Cold sitting at 8k, and Steel sitting at just about 10k. And this should be mentioned that these are all at post-buy too. So not only will they have this going in the next round, but whatever they get from winning and or losing, even if we see CLG pick up this round. And what a way to start it there. CLG, JDM picking up the first shot there by eliminating Fallen, one of the biggest players here on the side of LG.
He was trying to get aggressive into Palace, trying to work his spawn as he's attempted to catch him off guard, but JDM not going to fall victim to that. And once again, Steel has caught Finesse in this exact same position where he ignores that it would be directly to his right, very pushed up. And to be fair, the fact that Steel's been there twice, he's probably really frustrated because how he's pushing every round. This is ridiculous, but that is indeed maybe not every round, but rounds Finesse has been there anyhow. Takes him down, and we do have a 4-on-4.
Look at Fur here. He's pushing up 2. He's going to try to force CLG Hayes to relocate, but he actually is going to use his personal smoke to keep himself in his current position. And First has spent so much time setting that up, but it's completely denied by Hayes. Unfortunately for Hayes, he's still stuck up here at top mid because of that molly that was tossed down and because of the presence from Cold. So Cold is eventually going to win that very, very long battle that those two were engaged in, but because he had already found a player, that's essentially going to be a 1-for-1 trade. And meanwhile, while those two players were distracted by that and one of them died in the process, the players from CLG, they were able to get a full take on the B side, and they've got that plan coming in. 2-on-3 situation, and that push just comes blindly out from Cold. Tries to get the hop and shoot, but it doesn't pay off too well. Tarek, good job tracing the body. It's going to take him down. Dallied over the last one is, and 2. Tarek's not going to find the kill, but Bolts is dropped to 1 HP because of this, so I'm not even sure if he's going to go for the push here. Probably just going to sit back. They've got the money, of course, to push it if they should choose, but I think he's going to make the economical decision, which, again, is to be completely respected at this point. 7-1, you do not need to push it. This is only the second round pickup from CLG. He's going to sit back, and he's going to look to try and save this AK if at all possible.
Yeah, exactly. Already a lot of damage done on the round that they win. They survive with 2 players, and that means that they kind of got to drain the economy just to get rifles back in everybody's hands. So 7-2, CLG. Not too late to make a comeback here. We're about to go live in around 10. So 7-2, again, if they can break the economy, that's the big determining factor of whether or not they can get those more T rounds. They need to force an eco. And like you were stating, so much money on that CT side. And looks like they're actually going to go for, at least from the start, a quick B side play. JDM might be the hinging point if he can get this op pick here, and Fallen will be able to take him down. Duels going back and forth here, as that's honestly one of the big storylines. Fallen versus JDM and how that's going to work out.
And I'll push forward here now. Tarek almost taking the duel at first, but not going to decide to do so there, as he, again, thinks a little bit more cautiously for the team's sake. So they're going to move back. But already the potential are being limited. The initial plan was definitely to take mid control and work down on the B, but now you've had to see the number 7 man is going to have to look for some other options. Cutler moving inside of Palace. Fur is going to end up stopping him there. He'll take him down and win that trade once again. So slowly the doors are closing shut here in terms of options that CLG has, and now it's been completely reduced to nil, as Tarek is going to be the last one left alive here. LG holding strong once again here, taking it out, and Tarek is going to find 1 kill. Now, what can he get from here at this point, though, as he's alone in the world, stuck in top mid behind a pair of boxes, and he has a player from LG, which is going to be Fur, slowly encroaching behind him in the next about 20 to 30 seconds here.
Yeah, so the bomb down in the middle, a 1v4, and at the very least, he wants to make sure this is expensive. He gets the leg shot on the way down. Bolts going to be fortunate in that situation, as again dropping out of the window. JDM just barely missing that body shot. So 8-2, as again we see they pick up a round and they lose the one thereafter, and that's devastating. It's very difficult to get any momentum at all when you're constantly saving, and yeah, you can try and make these rounds tricky, and for sure Tech-9s are powerful, but at the end of the day they are facing a very formidable opponent. If you're having issues with those rifle rounds, well, again, these Tech-9s, unless you can create that chaos, it is very difficult to go and take a round. So, they do have 5 smokes. I'm going to see, or I'm imagining we're going to see yet again the smoke strat onto A just to get that bomb plant so they get that better buy in the next. And who knows if they can win the round, that would be great as well. But oh boy, this is not starting off good.
Yeah, this is probably going to be a shutdown unless we see a couple kills stolen away. And again, another thing to keep in mind here too, while this round is finishing up, is that the money once more has been reset, the losing bonus. So the CLG players are not going to be given as much freedom into how they experiment with their takes when they have the full bonus and the full freedom to do whatever the heck they want with their buys here. Now they have to save. They're actually might potentially double save, and it looks like that's going to be the case here as we see another Tech 9 bought up by Finesse. Apologies. Some players, more specifically JDM, might be able to go for a little bit more, but JDM is looking to save for an op, so he actually is not going to have that option. He has the full save. And again, this little blip sort of in the round takes coming out here from CLG is actually in the long run going to favor LG, because again, now they're another eco, and this is essentially going to be a 2-for-1. They let them pick up one round, but then LG gets 2 rounds back essentially for free, and probably at minimal losses too. That last round they lost max I think like 1 or 2 people, and in this round here as well they've already lost 2, but shouldn't have too much of a problem handling these final 2. We could see them clutch it out potentially if they can pick up 1 more for free, and with bolts sort of out in the open right now, if they go for a connector push quickly enough, then he'll be the person to do so. But if all goes according to plan here, and we don't see the players on LG getting too aggressive, once they were able to surmise where the final 2 players are from CLG and execute upon that, and they're actually going to have a really good crossfire for exactly where they're going, then they're going to still make it out of this round and the previous round with a lot more bonus money going into their bank accounts.
Yeah, nice play there from Fur, just playing towards that crawl space window, and just going to tap them away when they decide to attempt to aggress. Double digits here on the CT side for Luminosity, and they're going to go for the double op play. Fallen and Cold both picking those up. JDM will get that opportunity, no pun intended, to get a frag here towards middle. He's actually got the best possible spawn for it. Interesting that they actually spoke towards Catwalk, so he's not interested in taking a duel, even if maybe Fallen or Cold was there, and they're going to try and utilize their smokes instead. And they will take middle control. You can see they will leave Tark towards A, and I think this is because we've seen a lot of Palace aggression, A-ramp aggression. He's definitely one of the fraggers that could deal with that, and Cutler, big frags for him, and then Tark again chimes in on that A player.
And we'll see those 3 players left alive starting to split themselves up more to give them a little bit more dynamicism to their defense, hopefully able to survive at least one of these players being at the correct site where the push is going to be making its way to, but they're both actually moving forward to try and get a little bit more control of middle and see if there's anybody going to be outside back alley, but there's absolutely no one playing here. Fallen looking for the shot on the Finesse, and he grabs it there too as they try to go for underpass control, and that should reveal now that the push is going to be coming towards A, so this is why we see the 2 players now rotating into the site. Is there's only one reason to be going to underpass once your opponents have taken control, and that's to get A control or get mid control, partial mid control to work that in connector, while the rest of your team will be pushing in from A-ramp and Palace. So that's a really good read there from LG. They're going to work it over here. Unfortunately, the good smoke screen setup coming out from the T side is not going to give them too much vision, and they won't actually be able to stop this plant or pick up any kills while CLG are on their way into the site and now looking for their post-plant positions.
Indeed they are, as double up, not really a good retake situation, and actually JDM's going to take down the only other player that isn't yielding said rifle. Close range, Cold will go down, Hayes finds the frag, Fallen will fire back, misses the second shot though as Tark will be able to collect it. So he's asking the team, guys, can I pick up the op? No, Tark, you cannot. JDM is going to be the lone T-side opper. No, I'm sure he was just making sure JDM was set up, and we're actually going to do a listen-in here, again, sponsored by Esport Gaming.
CLG. Did he push over A last round?
They haven't pushed mid
Yeah,
yet,
I pushed
so
it
like,
hard.
okay,
They should
bomb
go
from
B.
B
They should come
halls.
B.
Flashing.
They should hold up for B.
One.
Molly window now.
Connector
Mid dead.
thighs.
Nice.
Underpass!
I'm all
Could
in
be
the
peeking
pass.
running up underpass stairs.
Yeah, let's go back A. Go back A. Go back
Yeah,
A.
go fast.
Literally,
Run
back
it,
A.
run it, run it.
Cut.
Fuck, man.
He jumped up on the fence.
He went up upper B, dude. Watch out. You could be right there.
Family show.
You guys want to go A? Just run
Yeah,
out, dude,
yeah.
with us.
Okay. I'm flashing close. I don't see anything on their back. I'm smoking CT.
It's okay,
Flashing
sir.
window. I think you might saw one toll booth. Could be balls.
Yeah,
he's
flashing
flashing.
could be
blind. I'm blind.
I'm blind.
Holds. One CT. 2 CT.
He gets
Flashing
flashy.
spawn.
Flashing spawn.
Okay, go.
I can't really plant, dude.
Plant triple if you. There's one window. Fuck.
Could be flanking. Could be flanking.
Yeah, it could be.
Window's clear.
Plant for triple. Plant for triple.
Really,
2 spawn. Could be flanking. Gotta plant the crack.
Coming out, spawn!
You're good.
Not yet.
I'm holding flank for a second.
They have to be holding for flank, dude.
One connector. There.
Connector.
Too small, too small.
Spawn.
Okay. I can't tell.
tell.
He's not.
Can't tell.
That's it.
We see Tarek there, just barely mistiming that. Oh man, a finesse going down and lower. That was. See, I feel like that's been the map for finesse. We saw him get blindsided a couple times going up like the from underpass, and yet again he gets caught under there. Bad times for them. They do get the bomb set, but not able to hold in post plant.
So now we'll see here too, once again, the economy here from CLG. Not going to be too kind to them. A fairly broken buy here in the 15th round, but they're going to get whatever they can find, essentially. Tarek, as well as Cutler and Finesse, able to get those AKs onto the board, but not a whole lot of nades. But JD will be the one essentially providing support for this team, as he's definitely not going for his op, so might as well go for the Tech 9, the mobile rifle here, try and work it, and then Hayes is downgraded down to a Galil. But still strongholds from the CTs, but we're seeing CLG push out. The problem was, as I'm actually going to get corrected here by JDM picking up 2 and recorrected as Bolts and Steel find 3 for themselves there. So the problem was that they go for these very hasty site takes without really clearing the site, as JDM trying to hold his own. He actually does light one of the players here on LG, so they're all super low. If he's able to get a good angle advantage, he can definitely still win this, but the problem is he's stuck between a rock and a hard place, essentially. He's got to try to find a way to get through connector clean, and he actually pulls it off. Now picking up the AK here, too. Very minimal info as where the positioning of these final 3 players are, but with them all being so low, he's just got to find a single tap. There's one, takes 1 hit along the way, so now he's at 7. And this is essentially 1 hit versus 1 hit here. He's got to find 2, though, on these last 2 players. And forced to plant, goes for the fake, wraps around 1, waiting for the peek from Bolts. It's not going to happen, but Steel did over-peek there, too. However, he's not going to stay out, and JDM's still looking for it. Got a ticket box to his left, and oh, completely missing that one there. So that's going to be an easy 1-tap for Bolts to find and finish him off. And that will close out the first half. Once again, heavily favoring one of our 2 teams, but this time flipped around. LG take it 12-3. And going back to my original point there, talking a little bit more about CLG sort of towards the end of that half, they go for those very aggressive site takes, but the problem is they don't really clear it. As LG's playing it very passively. They're not really, caring too much about the fact that the site's being taken, as LG's focusing a lot on the retakes. And that's caused a lot of confusion. We heard it in the comms there that CLG didn't really have a whole lot of info and couldn't actually get that plant because of the lack of info there. They just kind of let them have the site, and then with so many people alive, there was so much confusion in the play that they just couldn't do anything. And once we saw LG actually going for it, it was just a cluster.
And here we go, pistol round underway. Big one here for CLG is it could mount a bit of a comeback here. If they can make this work, we got a 3-on-3 as some frags in middle. Tark looking to get some more for himself here. The bomb is going to be coming in from apartments. He's getting hit from either side, but Hayes is going to help him out here. Cole dropped to 29 hit points. They will get the bomb into the site itself, but JDM still lurking around. He will send Steel down to 15 hit points, so 1 body shot should be all it takes if Hayes and JDM can do exactly that. It would be that pistol round they oh so require. And there we go. 1 and Steel making things interesting. Very nice headshot from him. Hayes, he's just going to hold the angle. He knows exactly where Steel's at. He has to plant it. Hayes, overkill with the headshot. That'll be pistol round to CLG.
And this is the beginning now. I was obviously 12-3 is very hard to make a comeback from. I would say, though, on Mirage, and I mean, as ridiculous as it sounds for as high tier of a game this is, like, it's so lenient on the CT sides of both of our teams, at least in our previous map and this map and the first 2 maps in our first set as well, that I would honestly argue they still have a chance here just because of the fact that the T sides have been extremely weak from both of our teams so far. So, I mean, so long as nothing goes wrong in these 2 anti-ecos and they're able to pick up the first 2 gun rounds, they might still have an opportunity. The other big key, though, is going to be, and we talked about a little bit about this when me and Laser were doing the other set too, is that they need to maintain that economy because CLG have this very big habit, and I think the other Steel made a tweet about this earlier on too, is that they have a very, very ugly habit of playing the super aggressive CT side, and it often loses them a lot of extra players that they really don't need to. This is going to be another example of this here, where they try to take a lot of these duels and it ends up actually going into the favor of LG. So the big thing is going to be trying to keep those players alive, trying to maintain as many players as possible here so that they can keep the money strong, they can bank up as much as humanly possible, and then take that into a stronger economy when we do actually see LG picking up rounds. And this might actually be one of them right here. Cold bringing this back down to a 1-on-1 with Tarek, where he might be able to swing this and pick up a 4K for his team. Tarek wrapping around. He does spot him, but there you have it. Cole's going to clutch it out, and all of a sudden LG swing back control into their favor and might have just killed any chance for a comeback on this map.
Right, I'm like, pistol round. All right, CLG, this is where they potentially can bring things back. But like you were saying, yeah, it just didn't work out near the end there, as getting a little bit hyper-aggressive, and LG will be able to take advantage. Now 13 rounds for them. Eco for the CT side as, again, for Luminosity. If they can't take pistol, well, we'll take the one thereafter. One thing I have noticed, again, these Brazilian teams, very good at taking those rounds right after if they do lose pistol. And again, if you can't convert the pistol, that would be the next best thing. Mid control here for Luminosity. As Fur gonna post up inside connector. Finesse looking to get aggressive towards the catwalk area. Can't get anything done with his USPS. Tarek does dink steal, so down to 2 hit points, but this is looking good here for Luminosity as Cold takes down JDM and Window.
Now Tarek here trying to hold on with 7 HP, but so far LG just kind of clean sweeping this one here, working their way in. Fallen's already spotted one to his left there. He's going to open up the opportunity, but Tarek actually dropping down, gets the Batman shot to take out Fallen. But again, Bolt's picking up those final 2 without too much additional trouble to put it back into their control of his team. 14-4 now. Still going to be on a rather awkward buy for CLG. They'll be going for it here, but for some players, it's still extremely weak. Utilitarianly speaking, as they don't really have a lot of nades to work with here. And for JDM, he's actually gone for the scout buy, so this is going to be extremely light. And they're essentially just they're pushing the envelope here to potentially keep the dream alive of actually winning this map instead of tying it up and taking it into OT.
Yeah, exactly. You got to think again. At some point, LG is going to take a round, so they try and go for the chance here. And again, we talked about how potent the lesser weaponry is in this game, and it will be Hayes to start things off. But they are going to take into A. Tarek getting 2. JDM with one of his own, and apparently the right call was made as JDM. Oh, we saw Fur the receiving end on the stream, but boy, imagine that would have been a nice one to witness as, yeah, JDM making it work with the scout. Any kind of scoped rifle.
We're now 4 rounds into this half, and half of these rounds should not have been won by the team that won them. So big victories here once again at the hands of both CLG and LG. LG were able to just steal that second one away after the 5th round of victory, but once again, the forced buy-up here from the counter-terrorists on CLG's end actually works out really good, and now they take back the helm. The question is, can they maintain it? As we've already seen some big pickups here at the hands of the opposite team and LG as well, with 3 Tech 9s in the mix and still an AK on the Fur here, and already putting it to use. There is that potential to just take it right back, put them on the match point, and then close it out very quickly after that. But and again, Fur not actually going to pursue too much middle control after finding that opener. Cold moving up, though, completely not checking for Finesse in the save corner, so he's going to find him. Tarek as well, taking out Seals. He tries to get aggressive. Hayes finding another one over on the Fallen, so everybody getting a piece of the action here. But now Tarek picks up a second one. He even should know Fur is up here, but they've got a pretty good feeling, and he's getting lit up all over the place. Down to just 14 HP, and gets hit with a nade there, too, so he's going to have to fall back. Doesn't have the bomb. This round should easily be in the hands of CLG.
Yes, indeed. As good news for them as well if they can survive with 4 left up, and it does look like that will be the case as Fur will flash towards middle. He tries to provide a little bit of feedback that maybe he's towards middle, not towards B apartments, but heading back towards T-spawn. This is a situation where CLG not interested in hunting. They don't really have that solidified economy on their end quite yet, so they're content just letting Fur save, and this will be the 6th round. Again, the fact that they stopped the bleeding at 14, again, they do have room to give up 1 round, and I always kind of paint this picture in, obviously, teams never want to lose. That's obviously going to be the situation, but if you have this kind of scoreline, you really want to build it up to maybe even 10 to 15 or upwards of that. Then if you give up a round, you still have a pretty reasonable shot, especially, obviously, you'd have to take the round thereafter and break the economy, but that's where things could get close. So, see if that does indeed become the case. But Fur, like we suggested, we'll bring that AK into the X, and they got a little bit of money. I imagine they might actually force up and fall in the only one below 2K, and indeed that is the case.
So, as you mentioned before, if we're going to see that sort of additional round picked up here, in my opinion, it needs to be at some point after CLG have already made the 10 rounds. If CLG still want to have an opportunity to steal away this map or take it into overtime, as it would have been in that case here. If they get the 15th round anytime in the next, 4 to 5 victories here for CLG, then it's still going to be way too easy of a closeout there, as there's still going to be such a huge cushion. You can even see it here now that, they still have about 8 rounds left before they've even tied it, and then they've got to take the lead and pick up the team where they're needed to close it out from there. So, such a long earn for CLG to work through. At this point in time, LG still should have absolutely no reason to panic, but they're going to work for this A-take once again, working their way in through connector right now. Hayes in a good spot to hold this corner, but actually doesn't find anything with it, as Seal picks up the first one. Cutler gets a trade, but Bolts, and once again, as well as Cold, take it right back into the hands of the LG players and bring it into a 4-on-1 now, as Fur's going to find another one.
Yep, JDM needs to come up big if he wants to prevent the 15th. He gets 1, but unfortunately can't get the quick scope in as he was caught out by Cold. 15th round, and we always paint the picture that, oh, the comeback, this is how many rounds they need. And, of course, they're going to give up the 15th right now. So, who knows if they can bring it all the way back, as now 0 mistakes allowed to be made. Otherwise, we are going to see number 3. And if you're just joining us, there is a potential for another best of 3. And that's if Luminosity takes this map and the next. And we will see them on even footing moving into that next best of 3. But if CLG can find a way to, who knows, come back and take this map, or again take the next, well, our nights would be a little bit shorter, and the WinOut land victory would go to CLG. Tarek, nice frag from him. Love that positioning, as, again, it's a bit of a cheeky one. Again, does take down Steel. Fires onto Cold as well, and this is going to turn into a 3-on-3 as JDM tries to find a flick shot with his scout, but not able to get it done. Cutler coming in from Market, and now it's only Hazed and Cutler left up.
And looking at the stats here too, just to take a look at that here for a few moments while this round is trying to close itself out for a second. I mean, just look at Tarek's KD at this point, 21 and 19. He's got 21 frags. Next to the player is Hazed at 12. So definitely a little bit of overall just an assistance issue here now, as unfortunately it's mainly been Tarek pulling off the plays, because Cutler as well, I think, although the score doesn't really show to this point, I think he's been doing a really good job of finding the necessary impact frags. The rest of the team unfortunately hasn't been able to show too much, and especially Finesse here too. He's only got 3 kills right now, so there needs to be a step up for some of these other members on CLG, as unfortunately they're just not performing up to par at this point, and that's handing over a lot of rounds.
And Fallon still trying to make this 1v2 work. Would love to close things out and cut the momentum short here for the CLG side. Does collect the bomb, but with 10 seconds remaining, he does find one. Cutler now in a 1v1. Knows he has to go for the bomb plant. So Fallen, how does he play? He will peek out wide, and that's going to be it. Fallen with the triple kill. The hat trick to end things in map number 2. We are going to see a third map, and could we even see that second best of 3? It is a possibility. You guys should stay tuned in here on the WinOut stream on Azubu, as again we're going to take a very short break, but when we return, map number 3, and again this first of potentially 2 best of 3s.
And we'll work on getting it to you at the knife round too, because that knife round is probably going to be super crucial, because it's Inferno, and again it's another round where, or another map I should say, where the CTs just took this ginormous advantage at the beginning of the map. So to be completely honest, whoever wins that knife round might have a really good chance at winning that map and the set too. So stick around for that. You're not going to want to miss it. Coming back in just a few minutes, guys, with the third and final map of our first of 2 possible sets. Sets is getting very long here at the WinOut 20K land.